giving another minute and then we'll start. Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day so far. It's been busy at this side, so I'll try and stick to an hour, but I can't guarantee that we will end at an hour, but hopefully we will deal with everything that we need to deal with. If I can just ask you guys a favor, just make sure that your mics are muted and that your cameras are switched off. Having said that, let's quickly go over to the house rules. You guys are familiar with all of them. I just want to pause at point 5. You guys know about the voluntary WhatsApp group. Please send me your name and module code. Please make sure that you send both those pieces of information. Otherwise, I won't know as what to save your name as and what to and to what group to add you, because there's more than one group. So please send me the module code and your name to that number, and I'll make sure that you are added to the correct group. That group is quite important. I share the session notes, as you guys have seen, the guys that's part of the group. I've shared the session notes as well as questions that we did and questions that we will do. I share on that group, so you always have the information and the notes available on that platform. Point number 6. One-on-one consultations. Guys, that's very important for those of you that are struggling with a specific topic. Please make use of that service. It's for free, and it is a session where only me and you sit and we discuss a problem that you might have, and it will probably be something that you are just understanding in the wrong way and you just need a different explanation on it. So make use of that session. It can be very beneficial to you. How to make use of that at the moment? UNISA is working on sending out query forms that you guys will use, but up to the point where that is available, you guys can use that WhatsApp number and send me a WhatsApp outside the group that I will add you to, and you can ask for a one-on-one consultation, state your specific problem or the specific topic that you are struggling with. Try to not to make it wide. Tell me exactly what you are struggling with, and then I know what to focus on, and we can make the most of that session. And then me and you will decide on a time that suits the both of us, and we can make it worth your while. Then number 11 and 12, very important. Firstly, please make sure that you post your student number in the chat section. If you haven't done so already, please do. There's a link to the attendance register. Please follow it and complete it. And then after the session, please do the evaluation form. It is a way of communicating that you are finding this session either beneficial or there's another recommendation that you would like us to consider to make this more effective for you. So having said that, are there any questions before we start? Gone. Let's move on. I'm just going to take off the screen quickly and just add the presentation. Okay, you guys should be seeing the screen right now. Please make sure that, like I said, please make sure that you've posted your student number in the chat section and have clicked on the link to the attendance register. If you find any problems doing that, please, you can just unmute your mic and mention that, and we can try and resolve it if you do have a problem. Okay, guys, as you know, on Sunday we discussed the weighted average cost of, or Saturday, I think, yeah, Saturday, we discussed the weighted average cost of capital. Tonight we're going to focus a bit more on the same, with more examples. So this is going to be a very interactive session where you have a question and you have time to do it and then listen to my explanation of how to attempt it. So please do the question on your side, attempt it. It is practice for the exam as well. So I'm going to show you how to tackle it if it was a question that you received in the exam, what to read first, how to think, how to approach it, and then also discuss the cost of debt and the cost of equity. So we're going to be focusing on the capital asset pricing model and also the dividend growth model in some of the examples. So just to remind you of the formula for weighted average cost of capital. So we say it's equity. And remember, your capital structure consists out of equity and debt. So to calculate it, we have to take the equity part and put it over the total capital structure, times it with the cost of equity. I've used RE in this example. It can also be KE, so don't get confused. RE, KE, it's cost of capital, just a different symbol. And we put that in a bracket. So that will calculate the weight that needs to be assigned to that cost of equity. Then we do the same with debt. We put debt over the total capital structure, multiply it with the cost of debt, and we apply it to so we weigh the debt. The only thing that comes in with debt that's not on the screen, but if we've practiced it, is if tax is involved. So if the question does state tax, remember that debt part is the cost of debt is after tax. So you must factor that in. So let's quickly look at this formula. Everything on the screen quickly. So the capital asset pricing model. Let's just talk through the formula before we get into the first example. So it's a formula for calculating the expected return of a security. What is a security? Anything that you can invest in. So it's shares based on its systematic risk. What is systematic risk? Systematic risk is the risk that specific security or share is as it is exposed to the entire market in which it functions. So it is the effect that market can have on that share. So that's why we call it a systematic risk. So we need to understand that, because the higher the systematic risk, the higher the expected return. Always remember that. The higher the systematic risk, the higher the expected return. That applies to almost everything in life. The more riskier it gets, the higher the salary, for instance. The more riskier your job, the higher the salary or the expected return. So the bigger the chance that you might lose your money, the better you want to be rewarded for it, for putting your money in that security. Everybody happy with that concept? So let's look at the capital asset pricing model. So we have our expected rate of return, that's RI, for our interest, our security. And we say we get that by looking at what is the risk-free rate. So the risk-free rate is it's the rate that you will get if you invest your money in any instrument that has got almost no risk associated to it. So that would be something like government bonds. So meaning you will get an exceptionally low return, but there's obviously an exceptional low risk of anything happening to your money. So the lower the risk, the lower the return. So it's the inverse of what I've just said, the opposite of what I've just said. The higher the risk, the higher the return. So risk-free rate is the risk associated with putting your money in something that's got almost absolutely no risk associated to it. Then we multiply it with beta, which is the systematic risk. And systematic risks is how much does the security tie with the overall market performance. So if you purchase a share, or that share would obviously be in a specific market. It will be in the electronics market, it will be in the petroleum industry, or whatever the case may be, together with other companies' shares, and they are all in a pool that is exposed to risks of a similar nature. So we have to factor that in. So we will take the market risk premium, which is the expected market return, less the risk-free rate, and multiply that with the systematic risk. Add that to my risk-free premium, risk-free rate, and then I get the expected return of a security. Any questions? Okay, guys, like I said, this is going to be a very interactive session. So we're going to already start with our very first question. Is everybody happy with that? As there's no questions, we can start with our first example. Read through this example. So it reads, it says, the following is an extract from Fuyu Steel's Work Limited's statement of financial position. So we've got equity and liabilities. So capital and reserves. Equity is ordinary shares at 900 million. Then we have non-current assets in the form of debentures. And then we have additional information. A dividend of R1.10 has been declared and paid during the financial year ending 31 May. Due to expansion, dividends are expected to grow at 4% per year from 1 June 2001 for the foreseeable future. The current market price per share on the 1st of June 21 is R10.40. Fuyu Steel Work Limited has a beta of 1.5. The market rate of return is 12% and the risk-free rate is 6%. There are currently 1 million debentures in issue at face value of R450 each. The debentures are redeemable after 8 years at face value. The coupon interest being paid is R90 before tax per debenture. Before tax. The debentures are currently trading at R486.68. The corporate tax rate for the foreseeable future is 28%. So I would like you guys to please, where is that? Let me just quickly get to. So looking at that information on the screen, we're going to do a few calculations. The first one is to calculate the current cost of equity using the capital asset pricing model that we've just explained. Is there anyone that would like me to put up that formula again on the screen? Okay, no one, yes, so everybody's happy. Okay. Please just give me a shout out when I can move.
You can move, please.
Okay, 100%. So the first item that I would like you guys to calculate for me is the current cost of equity using that formula that I've just given. And remember, guys, as the way we work, the moment that you are done, please put up your hand. Being done, meaning you've done the question, or you've hit a brick wall and you can't continue, you don't understand. So then you also raise your hand, or you can just unmute your mic and say done. Preferably the hand. If you don't have the hand functionality, you can just unmute and say done. So let's see what is the time. It's 7:20. Let's give 5 minutes for that. So it's 7:25. If you have a question, you guys can ask. I'm just muting my mic on this side. Does anyone else need another minute? If anyone needs a minute, you can just unmute your mic and say.
Charles, should we only calculate the CAPM?
For now, yes, good.
Okay.
I'm gonna deal with each question step by step.
Okay, thanks, Charles.
Thanks, good. You guys, it seems like majority of people are done. I think it's majority. If anyone wants me to give you another minute, now's the time to say so. Otherwise, I'm continuing. Okay. So let me put my notes on the screen. So again, that's the formula. Let's look at the information that's given. So what is the risk-free rate? It's currently given as 6%. So we will say 0.06 plus a beta of 1.5. The market return is 12%. And the risk-free rate is 6. So that gives us 0.06 plus, Rafika, can you give me the answer? Or Ellen?
Hello.
Hi, Rafika.
Hi. So it's 0.09.
100%. 9 added together gives me 0.15. Everybody happy? The next thing I would like you to calculate is the cost of equity. But I want you to use the dividend growth model. Don't worry, it's going to become a bit more challenging. I'm just warming you guys up. So you guys can just put your hands down again, and then another 4 minutes. And lift your hands, please, just as you are done. Guys, just a reminder to please sign the attendance register and also to post your student number in the chat section, please. Okay, let's quickly have a look at the next part. So the formula, as we discussed on Saturday for the dividend growth model, is your KE, your next dividend, not the current one, over the share price, the value. But do you guys see that we're playing a bit with this formula? What does the regular formula look like that we used on Saturday? Everybody happy with that formula?
Isn't it minus G?
Ah, sorry. Thanks, Kurt. Take it as a sign as me being positive. So you must be able, so that the whole thing with this example, it is extremely important that in the exam, you need to be able to manipulate this formula to give you other information that you might need. In other words, you'll have to be required to work back, for instance. Everybody happy with that? Sorry, I just left something out. You guys happy with that? You need to be able to take this formula and change it into this formula. Does anyone have a problem with that? So I'm sure everybody's happy. You know how to manipulate that formula. Right. So that means KE, the cost of debt, cost of equity, will be the next dividend. And what is the next dividend? They say here, dividends are expected to grow at 4% per year. And what is the current dividend that we paid is R1.10. So if I take you back here, it's R1.10 times 1.04. Everybody happy with that? Cool. Then we need to put it on the current price per share, the market price per share, R10.40. And we expect a growth of 0.04. So that equals, who can give me this answer?
1.14. Oh, sorry, Charles. I have a different one there. That's 0.07. 0.107.
Anyone a different answer? What did you get your first dividend, Kurt? Your next dividend?
My next dividend is 1.14.
That's accurate. Divided by 10 Rand 40.
Yes, and then it's 0.107, but rounded to 0.11.
There we go.
Right.
Lovemore.
I got 0.15.
Final answer.
That's the final answer, yes. Plus 0.04, and that gives me 0.15.
The same as RI.
Exactly. Everybody happy? So we used both models to get to the same answer. Everybody happy with that? So you guys must stop me if you got any questions. So using your calculator, so the calculator that you are allowed to use in the exam, whether you have the Sharp or the HP. Calculate now. I'm going to write it here. So that was the second calculation. Let's calculate the third one. The after tax cost of debentures. What is the after tax cost of debentures? I'm going to give another 4 minutes.
Will you please put up the scenario, Charles?
Thanks, Kurt. Okay, guys. Anyone need another minute? Okay, Ellen, what do you get the internal rate of return or the rate?
I'm not sure whether my answer is correct, but I have 14.4%.
This is the place where you can be wrong, so don't stress.
Okay, I have 14.4%.
Okay, I've got 14. Lovemore, what did you get? Lovemore, can you hear me?
I've got 14%, but I'm not confident with my calculation. I would really love to hear what you would say on how to go about it.
100%. Kurt?
I have the same answer, 14%, Charles. Hi, Charles, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kurt. Sorry, there was just a stop there.
No problem.
Who else has got 14? Makatane?
I got 12.5.
Okay, let me just check again because I get 18. Just give me a moment.
I got 18 too, Charles.
Sukisile?
Yes, I got 18 too.
Okay, let me just double check. I'm glad someone else got what I got, but it's always good to double check. Because your initial outflow, if you enter it into the calculator, your initial outflow, I'm just going to clear my memory here. Remember to always clear your calculator's memory before you do any calculations, guys. So the initial outflow is 486,680. 486,680,000. That's your initial outflow. That should be a minus because it's an outflow. Okay. Then you have seven payments. And they all equate to 90 million. Seven of them. And at the end of the year, there will be another. The redemption value will obviously be your final payment plus the value of the debentures. So that should be the 450 million plus the 90 million, which gives you your 540. Everybody still happy with me there?
I think I'm lost, sir. Maybe if you can put it on the screen, I'm a bit lost.
100%. Let me put it on the screen.
Thank you.
So if you think about it, your outflow is 486,680,000. Your number of payments is 8, but 7 will be during the payment period. The 8th one you will add together with your final redemption value, because you pay it on that same day that you completely pay off the entire debenture. So if we say 7, and that payment is 90 million. Everybody happy with that so far?
I just want to ask there, Charles.
Yes, good.
So you asking us the after-tax cost of the debentures. So in the calculation building up to obtaining the final rate,
Yes.
should we use the before tax payment as you did there now and not adjust that with the tax percentage, or only adjust the actual, say, interest rate that you are calculating with the tax amount?
Should all, Kurt, just to answer, this should all be before tax.
Okay.
Because if you do that, your calculation that you will get to using your calculator will be 18%.
I hear you.
And on that 18%, you will apply. Who answered 12%? Someone answered 12%. That is the final answer. Anyway, so there you get 18% from your calculator. So it's basically your internal rate of return. If I want to, let me put that there. Internal rate of return. Okay. Then that 18% you are now going to subject to the tax. So you're going to say 18 times 1 minus t. That means it's 18 times 1 minus 28, and that will give you your final answer of 12.96%, which you then round up to 13%. Everybody happy with that? Remember this outflow, let me just make a note there. Is the million debentures that we have at, here's the information. Slide now. The market current, the debentures are currently trading. Comes 486.68. So that's where we get that value. Everybody happy with where we got that?
Yes.
Okay. Who's not happy with this explanation so far? Okay, because now we have the cost of debt and we have the cost of equity. So for a final calc, I would please like you to calculate the WACC, the weighted average cost of capital. So as the fourth one, calculate the weighted average cost of capital. Let's give another 5 minutes. You guys can just lower your hands, please. Thanks. Guys, does anyone need a minute or two extra? Is everyone happy? Can I continue? Cool. Guys, the main thing to remember here market values. So you first need to go check what is your market values for equity and for debt. For equity, we have 90 million shares at R10.40. Debentures is the one we calculated there at the top. $486,680. Okay. So now we say WACC equals what is that value? 936. Everybody happy so far? You guys must speak up, eh? I can also make mistakes. What was the cost of equity? We calculate the cost of equity as
15%.
15%.
yes, thanks. 15. Plus $486,680 over 936 multiplied with the after-tax cost of debt that we've just calculated as 13%. So then we will sit with yes, good.
I don't have a question, Charles.
Oh, I just saw your hand, so I thought you had a question. Everybody happy with that answer?
I'm surprised that I didn't use the market values, but I still got 14%.
I would guess you're
I
very
don't
lucky.
know. Yeah.
Anyone else got a question? Okay, guys, then I've sent you questions tonight. I want us to please have a look at that. You will see it's WAC class question number 1. Okay, so when we go through this question, I think this will be the last question that we do tonight. I want you to please pay attention to exam technique. So as I've always said, the very first thing that you need to pay attention to, I'm going to just open it on my side here as well. Let me just open. Okay. Pay attention to the marks and the time. Then you go to the required. And you see what they want. So first I want you to calculate the cost of debt for the loan for the debentures. So let's quickly have a look just at that for now. So let's read through the question. They say Kingston Limited is a medium-sized manufacturing business that is highly dependent on electricity for production. Due to the recent load shedding, the production and profit of the company is under massive strain. Directors have decided to invest in a solar power system as an alternative energy source to minimize the impact of load shedding on the business, as there is no other short to medium-term solution to the national electricity crisis. The project cost is estimated at 13 million and will commence as soon as the funding of the project is confirmed. In order to evaluate the feasibility of the project, the company needs to establish the company's weighted average cost of capital. So before we can make the decision, we first need to see what is the current weighted average cost of capital. So there we have our equity and liabilities. There's the shares. Remember, that is not part of the capital structure. Oh, guys, yeah, just a note here. I know it says MAC 3702, but the questions that we are asking and the questions that we are doing is also questions that will be asked in 2602. So there's a reason why I picked this specific question. Then if we go to non-current liabilities, we sit with 12% debentures and long-term loan. Tax, not part. Okay, so those are the two that I would like us to focus on now first. So let's go to note 2 and note 3. So note 2 and note 3. They say similar debentures are trading at 10% per annum. The interest is payable annually in arrears and redemption date of these debentures is 31 March 2021. Long-term loan is repayable in 3 years' time and carries an interest rate of prime rate minus 1. The current prime rate is 10% for similar loans. The current prime rate is 10.5%. Similar loans is currently trading at plus 2%. So let's look at the required again. Let's only look at the cost of the loan first. What will be the first thing that we do? Anyone?
Can I try, Charles?
Yes, please.
I think we have to go through the information in order to determine what's available so that we can choose the formula which we can use between the CIPM and the dividend growth.
100%. So we first want to calculate the cost of debt. Everybody happy with that? Let's go through the information. So the first one we are looking at is the long-term loan. They say the current prime rate is 10.5%, but the market rate is 2% higher than that. So we know what the market price is, and we also know what the tax rate is. So the normal cost of capital, I am on my tablet, just go to, I'm just going to say here, back class question 1. So the cost of debt will always be the market value times 1 minus T, because we want the after tax cost of debt. Everybody still happy?
Yes.
So can you guys calculate that for me? Let's say 2 minutes. Or the first person that's got the answer, you can shout.
At 9%.
On the dot. So we have 10.5% is the prime rate, but we want market rate, so similar loans, 2% plus, times 0.72, and that gives me 9%. Let's look at the debentures. So this is for the loan. Let's look at the debentures. What does the information say about the debentures? They say similar debentures are trading at 10% per annum. So what's the rate that we need to use? %. So it's 10% times 1 minus 0.28. That equals everybody happy?
Yes.
Not so difficult yet, no. Let's look at required number C, required C. And here, Lovemore is what you said earlier. They say calculate the cost of equity using both the Gordon's dividend growth and capital asset pricing model. And that's what we did tonight with examples for 6 marks. Can I please leave that to you guys to calculate? I'm going to give you about 8 minutes. But if you have a question, unmute and ask. I'm here. If you guys are done, or just please remember to raise your hand. And if you got any questions, you can just unmute and ask. Please remember to sign the attendance register as well, and also please put your student number in the chat section. Thanks, guys. Is there anyone that needs a few more minutes? Can we continue with the question? Cool, I take it as a yes. Let's quickly go back to the information. Okay. Remember that formula that we used last? We said the cost of equity for the dividend growth model equals the next dividend over the share price plus growth. Let's read the information. It says the historical average issue price of ordinary shares was 250 cents. The latest known share price is 625 cents. Kingston Limited has just declared and paid a dividend of 25 cents. In line with its stable growth, the company is expecting to declare a dividend of 28 cents for the year ending 31 March 2017. And remember what I said, dates are extremely important. This is the information for 2016. So if we use the dividend growth method, we say that the cost of equity equals that D1 over the current share price plus growth, meaning the next dividend that they will declare is 28. The current share price is 625. What is growth? Who can tell me what the growth is?
It's
12%.
12%.
25 cents.
Let's see how we get to the answers. They say here, they just paid 25 cents. They're expecting to pay 28 cents. Then they say the historical average issue price of ordinary shares is 25 cents. The latest known share price is 625. What is the growth from the 25 cents now to 28?
3 cents.
What is 3 divided by 25?
It's 0.12.
So G equals the 25 to 28. And that's 12%. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
So it's plus 0.12. So if I just take, just gonna make this a thing. So that means the cost of debt, equity, will be 16.48. If we don't round at this moment. Let's use the capital asset pricing model. There we say the cost of equity equals the risk-free rate plus beta the market rate minus the risk-free rate. Did they give any of that to us?
Yes, we have a free rate of 7%.
100%.
And then we have a beta of 1.2.
Yes.
And then we have a market risk premium of 7.9. I hope I'm right. I'm not sure about that one.
No, you're right. But here's the catch. This entire thing, remember when I did the presentation, is called the market risk premium. So if I substitute, I'll get the 7%, that is the risk-free, plus 1.2 times 7.9. And that also gives me 16.48%.
Oh, they did calculate it for us already on this one. Oh, okay, now I see. All right.
So that's why this question is also for me very important, because it already gives you the market risk premium. You don't have to deduct, so that's where they would have caught you out.
Okay.
Everybody happy so far?
Yes.
Then they say calculate the market value of the loan and calculate the market value of debentures and calculate the market value of equity. We will do these questions. Okay, let's do this. I would like you guys to do those questions on your own and individually send me your answers. And I'll go through them and I'll give you feedback.
Should we send them via WhatsApp?
Yeah, you guys can just send it via WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you.
On the WhatsApp front, does everybody have the WhatsApp number? There's no one else that needs the WhatsApp number to be put on the screen again. %. Those that are not yet part of that WhatsApp group, please send me your name and the module code and I'll add you. Guys, are there any other questions?
Charles, I have a question.
Yes, Lovemore.
There is a message which you did show us there with some house rules, and there was a note which spoke about the one-on-one sessions.
Yes.
Does the one-on-one sessions apply to MAP 2602 only, or it doesn't apply to?
It applies to all the modules that
Like
I'm a
FSC?
facilitator for. So it applies to all the modules that I'm a facilitator for. So Lovemore, it includes both 2602 and 3701. 3702. So if you guys need a one-on-one consultation, you are more than welcome to send me a WhatsApp and state your specific problem, the specific problem that you have, and we can address it in that session. So yeah, you can just send me a WhatsApp and I'll make sure that I arrange that session for you. Are there any other questions that you guys would like to discuss? Guys,